Women's History Month is a time for us to celebrate the contributions women have made to the United States and recognize the specific achievements women have made over the course of American history in a variety of fields. My name is Rebecca DeSantis Randall, and I serve as the Equity Program Administrator here at the City of Frederick. Here in Frederick, we celebrate women who have made an impact on our community. We can't have a conversation about women's history in Frederick without starting off by recognizing Barbara Frischy, who is best known for her folkloric defiance in the face of Confederate troops in September 1862 at the age of 95. There is Claire Mcardle, the pioneering designer credited for inventing American sportswear and revolutionizing comfort wear for women, who was born in Frederick in 1905 and spent 2 years studying home economics at Hood College. Emma Smith, born in Frederick in 1844, was a founding member of the Frederick Home for the Aged and founded Frederick Health Hospital after raising the funds to start the hospital in the late 1890s. Dr. Blanche Bourne Tyree was the first woman from Frederick to earn a medical degree and one of the first Black female doctors in Maryland. She was born in Frederick, and after a successful career as a pediatrician, she returned to Frederick to retire. There is also Martha Church, who is a well-known name in Frederick, serving as the first female president of Hood College from 1975 to 1995. During her tenure, she was recognized as one of the 100 most effective college and university presidents in the nation. We also acknowledge our female elected officials who paved the way for women in local government: Frances Baker, Shelley Alloy, Jennifer Doherty, and our current alderwomen, Donna Kazemchek, Kelly Russell, and Katie Nash, just to name a few. Today, in the city of Frederick, we are incredibly fortunate to have a best-in-class workforce that includes women who shape all aspects of our city government. Nicole Harshman started with the city in 2012 as a projects inspector and has 17 cumulative years of work in the construction industry. As the senior projects inspector in our Department of Public Works, she enjoys working with other departments to improve processes, from engineering and design to the actual execution of construction in the field. Nicole has worked on several capital improvement projects, including the Carroll Creek Linear Park, Color Lake, and the Monocacy Boulevard Roadway project. In our police department, Lieutenant Tracy Wiles began her career with the City of Frederick in 2001 as a police dispatcher before becoming a sworn officer. Today, she is the commander of Patrol Division 2. She enjoys the supportive community here and coming to work each day knowing she'll be faced with a new or challenging objective. One of Lieutenant Wiles' highlights from her time in Frederick has been the opportunity to participate and plan many special events in the city. The City of Frederick's Planning Department has worked tirelessly throughout the COVID-19 pandemic as development project applications for the city have increased significantly. Planning Department members, such as Jess Murphy, one of our planner technicians, display adaptability and innovation daily to consistently ensure the process for these project developers and city residents are transparent and engaging with the public. This work has made the City of Frederick planning and development process one of the most extensive and open of any municipality in the region. To continue recognition of women in the City of Frederick workforce, we are sitting down with one of our exemplary employees to gain a perspective of women in leadership. So we are joined today by Tracy Coleman, the City of Frederick Deputy Director of Public Works. Thanks so much for joining us, Tracy.
Thanks for having me, Rebecca.
So starting out, what does Women's History Month mean to you as a female leader in a traditionally male-dominated profession of public works and engineering?
Well, Women's History Month, I think, is very important because we recognize the contributions that women have made to every field. Engineering in particular is obviously, close to my heart because that's what I do. where I would really like Women's History Month to end up is kind of just a normalization of women in engineering. I'm the female city engineer, but I don't want people to know me as the female city engineer because I'm the city engineer. And I want that to be normal. I want young women to see that women can be in engineering fields, women can be in the construction industry. But I think, again, back to Women's History Month, it's great to highlight the fact that we have had, so many great women participate and, work in the engineering field.
Absolutely. And you even reminded me before this that you were the first person who was a female who was hired into the engineering department at the city, correct?
Yes. Back in 1997, we established a second assistant city engineer's position. I was hired, and I was the first degreed female engineer, worked for the city. And then when I came back in 2014 as the city engineer, I'm the first female city engineer.
Great. So you lead some of our largest teams in the city. What is your advice for leaders, particularly female leaders, who aspire to create a successful team environment?
I think the first thing that I would say to any leader is understand yourself, understand your team, know where they come from, what they do, understand that you're not the expert necessarily at everything that you do. And then, in females in particular, I think the first thing I encourage women that younger women that I talk to, or women that haven't been in the field quite as long as I have, sit at the table, speak up, be confident in your knowledge, be confident in your understanding, and but again, listen to your staff and trust your staff and include them in decision making and be decisive yourself.
Absolutely. And you bring up something really important, getting to the table. What would you say to a young female leader who's maybe struggling to make their voice heard at the table?
My first response is your voice is important and it's valuable. Your perspective is valuable. Your education and whatever experience that you bring to the table is extremely valuable. You might offer a different perspective. You might offer a way to do things a little bit differently than the way they've been done before, which is one of my least favorite things. We've always done it this way. So I think the biggest thing for a woman, and I've suffered with this myself, is be confident. Know that you have something to offer.
I like that. So how do you incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion in your job every day, and especially for your vision for public works operations?
So I mentioned it before, women offer a different perspective than a man, just because they're different people. We had a conversation very recently in our IDEA working group about the importance of helping employees to feel as if their unique talents are included and are accepted in our organization. As a leader, I think we have to recognize that having a unique perspective, a different background, just any minor differences in those that we work with or those that our employees work with just make our organization that much more vibrant and that much more, we can accomplish so much more with those different views and looking at challenges a little bit more from every angle.
So how do you think that members of the Frederick community can celebrate and recognize women's history this month and every month?
Oh, thanks. That's a great question. I think, at least from inside the Department of Public Works, I like to look at our staff. I mentioned that I was the first female city engineer here for the city of Frederick, and we've come a long way. In 7 other engineer positions, we have 4 women engineers. Our senior projects inspector is a female, and she's amazing. We have women throughout the city in leadership positions, and they make the city a great organization to work for. Outside in the community, I think you just have to look, and you'll find women doing amazing things in all kinds of different organizations, whether they be nonprofit organizations, private organizations. They're leading the way in whatever industry they're in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thanks, Rebecca.